Hi everyone. No one is perfect, but that does not mean that when you act in a way that might be considered imperfect, when you make a choice that you know is the wrong choice, saying nobody's perfect is not an excuse for that. You need to be able to own up to that. Nobody's perfect does not excuse your imperfection entirely. I think a lot of times that has been something I've been guilty of. Having a day where I'm just not doing everything I should. Like, I know I could be doing more, and I'm choosing not to, simply because no one's perfect, everyone has their off days, blah blah blah. And that's true. That's definitely true. I don't think it's important to bully yourself anytime you make a mistake or you don't live up to your own expectations. What I'm talking about more is normalizing that behavior. It's very easy, at least for myself, to normalize a mistake, especially in a world where nobody's perfect is a mantra that is repeated a lot. I've noticed a lot of the time recently, I'm judging my days by whether or not I am being quote unquote perfect, whether or not the day ends and I don't have any regrets. Like, I did everything on my checklist, I didn't fall to any of my temptations, and that's a perfect day. When I do that, I sleep very soundly. And when I don't, even when it's one or two things, like even if it's I wanted to read for an hour, but I got distracted and started scrolling for 15 minutes, so I only read for 45 minutes. It gets to me. It probably gets to me more than it should, which may sound contradictory to what I'm saying in the beginning. But when it's my own expectations of myself, because I know I could be better. It'd be one thing if, like, my mind truly wandered and I didn't realize that I was scrolling, like something just popped into my head, I subconsciously just pulled out my phone and started looking something up. That's one thing, but I'm making the choice to give into a temptation I would rather not. And that's something I need to stop. I think a lot of times in my past, a lot of my unhappiness came from ultimately the fact that I knew I was making mistakes. I knew I wasn't living up to what I knew I could be doing, but I wasn't changing. Up until very recently, I don't think I ever enjoyed getting high. Like, if I ever smoked, what would happen was I would smoke, become very present. That's what I've noticed weed does for me. It makes me very present. And in the past, when I was constantly giving into temptation and I was constantly excusing myself because nobody's perfect. I would be in the present moment and all I could see was all of those horrible choices. I couldn't run from them. I couldn't put on a TV show or a movie to distract myself because I was in this moment and I could clearly see that I wasn't the person I wanted to be, and it tore me up inside. And I still continued not to make any changes, which tore me up inside even more and even more and even more. And then by the grace of God, I was granted the sight to see the truth, and that allowed me to start making changes. But I never I always just allowed myself to get back, to let things slide just because nobody's perfect. But you can be perfect to yourself. I think that's ultimately what it is. If you try your best every day and you do everything exactly as you think you should, pure heart rule. You truly follow your heart and you don't lie to yourself. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to say things that are wrong. You're going to hurt people that you didn't intend to hurt. But you can be proud of that. You can know that you were as perfect as you could be. And then you'll gain experiences through those mistakes you made. And then you'll learn that in the future, don't make those mistakes again, or look at things a different way. When you can do that, the next time maybe you'll make the right choice and be a little bit more perfect. Just a little bit more, and then a little bit more. You can always get better. But every time you excuse yourself, every time you say, hey, I'm just having an off day, you're only hurting yourself. You're only holding yourself back. I'm not able to do that still. There's maybe only been 1 or 2 days where I have been fully satisfied that there's been nothing that I've felt like I could have done more in. But I think I can get there now. I think that is something that is an attainable goal. I think that's an attainable goal for everyone. Just purifying your heart. Being true to your soul. Because I find when you are, you feel more free. You feel more love. Which allows you to extend that to others. Which allows them to extend that love to others. That's the goal. Pure heart rule. I think that's it. Side note, I'm noticing, I think I understand why some traditions don't like music being used for anything other than the celebration of God because having detoxed myself from it for very long. I was just at Target earlier today, and they had their just like whatever playlist that they play. And I was grooving, man. Who really loves Target music? But today, I don't know. I could feel it. I could feel the emotion in that music. I don't necessarily know if I agree that music should only glorify God, but I definitely understand it more than I did. There wasn't really a point to that, but I did. It was something very interesting to myself. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay safe. Do good. Be good. Love you. Peace.